Hello everyone, um, welcome to Design with Omar. Today we'll be trying out or we'll be creating the design that I did for Made by Hub. So I'm going to run you through all the processes, the fonts, the color schemes, and how to get it done easily with your mobile phone. Originally, the design was done on Canva. As you can see here, I'm on a Canva interface, and most of my assets are already plugged into Canva as part of the brand. If you come to brand here, you see these assets already plugged in, from the logo to the colors and all of that. It's quite easy to use. Um, we have different kind of uh, mobile graphic editor apps out there. For Android, you have Pixel Lab, you have Canva. My own personal favorite is GoDaddy Studio, that is formerly over. It's on Apple, and also you can get it on Android also, but the interface is quite different. But because of this tutorial, it's going to be much easier for us to follow through using Canva. So, all right, let's get to it. So, if you look at this template itself or this design, you see it has a logo, and then it has a word icon that's made by Hub, and then you have the amazing discounts, social media designs, and all of that. So let's get right to it before I ramble too much. I'm going to create a new blank layer, which is this. We already have the design here, but I have it open on another device, so I can always um, reference to it throughout the course of the design. So let's try and recreate this. So first and foremost, I'm going to pick up the Made by Hub logo from the brand asset library, which is this. Going to accentuate it and take it here, so I think somewhere around here, and then I am going to bring the Made by Hub and also arrange it to the far right of the Canva itself. So these are PNG images, which already, like I mentioned, I already uploaded them to the brand storage or brand asset files for Canva. Then with that, so let's work on the background. So we have this very faint watermark background there. So let me bring that in. So originally, like I stated, I have this here. So I think I'll put my uploads and I'll look for it. Okay, so this is it. Now this is in colored, whereas this, the one we have in the background, let me pick up the pen. So the one we have behind that, which is around here, is quite faint, right? So I'm going to turn this to this. So to do that, go to adjust. I'm going to kill the color on it, remove any form of saturation on the image itself. I think Canva is acting up. Okay, so it's back. So first and foremost, we're going to kill the color, make it 0. Then going to increase, I think, yeah, increase. Let's just do that for that, and then that for that. Okay, so now, all right. Then going to, let's take the whites up so you can kill. You can see just around. Let me see if I can pick the pen up. Just around this area, we have a vignette, a circular vignette. So I'm going to kill that. Go back to adjust. So basically you can, okay, I'm not going to use this one. So I'm going to go to whites and then kill that. So as you can see, this is completely out of it. Originally we had, let me just back it up. Originally we had this, but now we have like a vector. Let me zoom in. So we have like a vector whitey and black. That's black and white image. So I can always go further to maybe make it more vibrant, maybe pull in the blacks, but I think that's going to pull in the blacks a bit. Well, I guess I'll leave it like this. Okay, so after that, we'll go back in, we'll go to filters, sorry, effects, I beg your pardon, and go to blur. So I'm going to blur the whole image to something like this. We'll just bring it in a bit. Yep. Then I'm going to drop down the transparency, or in other words, the opacity. Say something as sweet as 3 will do. So we are almost there. Then lastly, going to increase the size, something like this, something like this. Okay, so we're almost there with our watermark. So I think what I will just do is to increase the blur a bit. So yeah, maybe 45. Okay, that's too much. So most time it's just all toggle and play. Just you have to find the sweet spot for it. So let's do 28. Okay. Okay. Just bring it up a bit more. Trying to get this really faint. So just to give it more drama. So the design would not look bare. Originally, you can always do it on a blank canvas, like a plain white background. But to give it more drama, just so you have like a background effect of some sort. I'm going to go to layers, and I'll pull this just above the background layer itself. So this one is the background layer, so I'm going to put it just above the background layer, so every other thing can stay on top. I can choose to lock it. Let me see. Okay, I don't think so. Like I said, this is not really my favorite tool to use, but because of this, so everybody can follow through. But I can't really, I don't know, I can't lock it. Let me see. Let me go to more. Okay, I can lock it. So yeah, locked. Okay. So we have that in place. What we're going to do next is to bring out the text. So for this text, we have about, so basically for this design, we have about 2 font types. So in this case, the font for the header is Special Gothic, whereas the font for the body text, which is a smaller one, is Grift. So we're going to do that. So but first, let me quickly copy this text so I don't have to type it all in. So I'm going to copy that text, and I am going to add a text. Just like add a text box, paste it in, then I'll go to fonts, Special Gothic. It's that simple. So with this, I can now, toggling this anchor point here, or this node, just to give it a little bit more drama. But because the design is left aligned, for the text. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back in. I will go to formats and then left aligned. Pull this up, maybe somewhere around there. Increase the size a bit, and then I would still toggle. But most times it doesn't come out well. So what I'd rather do is I'll go in and then return this to the next layer, or the next line, I beg your pardon. Then I'll do just about this, right? But we're almost there, just that it's messed up because of the let me see, the font size at 46.2. Okay, so it's messed up because of the line heights. So originally the line spacing or kerning in some design tools has a name for it. So but for here it's 1/1. So I'm going to pull down line spacing to 1 by, okay, let's make it 1/11. Okay, so we're getting there. So I'm going to introduce the next text. So I'm going to do another one. So the text box, okay, let me just type this one in since I think I can't remember what it says. So small biz is for business, or growing brand with a comma, also with a question mark. Go to the next line. Let your page speak style, strategy, and sales. Okay, so we have that sorted. So I'm going to align this here, because so when I left align, it's going to start from where this node is. So I'm going to do that now. So left align, reduce the size, make it situate very well. And I'm going to reduce the line spacing. Finding sweet spots, I think that's fine. Okay, so I think I need to increase it a bit. All right. So we have that sorted. Now to achieve, so within this we have some bolding text, and then some italic text like the strategy, sales, speak style. So I'm going to do that here. But to achieve this, most time what you need to do is when you go to, I think it's around, so it's around advanced. So to achieve that, you have to go to typography under advanced. So there's kerning. So we find letter spacing for visual balance, which was what I mentioned then, which was a line spacing, kerning. So we have to toggle on these ligatures. So combine specific characters elegantly. So you turn that on. So it's turned on, right? So now I can go into the text and then select the ones I want to work on. So I select this, I can now bold it. But without that ligature, you can't do all of this. So you have to toggle it on. So you go to growing brand, bolding that, speak style, and sales. So bolding that and then italic it. So, all right, we are moving forward. Okay, so if you notice underneath this header text, this is the main text, we have like a zigzag underlined element there. So I already have that sorted. So what I can do is always go to my elements. So on elements, you can search for anything. Search for anything and to come up, to pop up. Okay. I use the paid version of Canva, so it makes it more easier to get some elements, some pro elements or paid elements or premium elements. Monthly subscription for Canva is about, if I'm not wrong, 1,600 or thereabout. It's quite affordable. Also for excuse me, for, so if you can do that, or you can do the yellow one. So this orange element here, this was the one I used. So already it's behind. It's behind. If it's not, you can always go to layers and move it. So that is there. So what I'll do is let me take it down a bit, just a bit more. So what I'll do is I will then change the column. So because it's an element and it's a page element, although most elements, even though they are free, you can always toggle the color. So for this one, I'm going to take it to the brand color, which is this really nice green, shade of green. So there. Okay. So what I would do next, just to make sure that things don't start moving about and it's easier for me to control, is you can always group up items, which is one good feature I like about Canva. You can group elements into one and then move them around. Unlike the other one, Studio by GoDaddy, it's almost a bit difficult to do that. You can also do that on Adobe. I'm trying to remember. It's Acrobat or something. No, it's not Acrobat. I'm trying to remember the name for Adobe's mobile editor app. So, but when I get that, I'll maybe mention it if it comes back to mind. So select multiple, close that. Sorry. Okay, so you select and then select these two. Click on done and then you group it. So I can easily just move both elements, the text elements and then the vector element. I can move it around. Okay, so that's done. I'll still do the same thing for this, but first let me try to bring in whatever I probably must have missed, so we can move forward. So I'm just making something a bit smaller. I think that is about. Okay, so we'll just leave it like this for now. Okay, so the next part is to get in the okay, let's bring in this one and this one. So like I stated here, because I already have that sorted, you can go back to elements. So how I was able to get this one was to the art shaped element was to search for I think social media. So in doing that, originally I think I searched for Instagram logo, 3D Instagram logo, and that popped up. Let me try and get that instead. So let me say 3D Instagram logo. Okay, so I'm having issues with on the graphics. So you have different categories to pick from. You can go to photos, frame, videos, audio, mockup. But in this case, we are doing graphics. And yeah, there it is. There's it here. So select that. It comes up in your Canva. The size. And then voila. So with this, I'm going to flip it horizontal. I think I have to rotate it just a bit, size it a bit, so it fits into that space. So designing is all about bringing, let me just digress a bit, it's about bringing different elements together on a blank space or a blank Canva, and trying to work around how you manage you know, areas around your design itself or around your canvas. So in this case, we're managing how, the white spacing, those white areas. Like here now, if I had left that like that, it wouldn't really look nice. So the best bet is to just put something to just, something that relates to what the other is saying, and then achieve that. So I am going to select this. So I'm going to group it so I don't have things flying about or moving about. So I group that in. And another element we have to bring out, because I already have this on, so I'm going to recently use, or you can just say, you know, I think the word for it is line art or something, or line. So but this is about it. So I'm going to do this, resize it. Remember, we're trying to achieve this, so I'm going to resize it, bring it down. So how I was able to come about this design, originally I had difficulties coming up, like conceptualizing what I wanted it to look like. But while I was working on it, bit by bit, some ideas just kept on popping up. Originally, I did not want to go with this design style or this structure for the design. I wanted something a bit different, but because I was trying to crunch in a lot of information into one design, which is a lot of this information into one design. Originally, sometimes you just see maybe just the first price and all of that, but because it's three different design and three different pricing, I wanted to crunch it into one design itself. I needed to try to achieve all of this and make it look really nice at the end of the day. So that's why I had to end up with this kind of this design. So I'm going to pick this color, matching this other one. So I think another issue here is, okay, except I zoom in. Okay, so you can always zoom into your design to get around, and things that probably you are finding difficult. Like I was having difficulty resizing this. I had to zoom in to do that. Okay, so I'm going to select this also, select multiple, and then group, so I can move this about if I want. So everything is grouped in nicely. Okay, so to achieve the pricing, I will then go to elements, pick a shape. You can pick either the one with the curved shape. You can pick this curved shape or the normal square sharp ends, like a square box, right? So maybe let me do this here. Then using this node, pull it out and give it a nice rounded corner. So we come to corners. So I noticed this one here, this side feature on Canva, which is really nice because you can select how many sides you want. You can do an octagon, you can do the many guns, and make a perfect circle or something. Well, yeah, just 4 sides, and then give it a nice rounded corner of, let's say, 20. Okay, let's do 20. Okay, no, that's so. Okay, so let me try to get the measurements correct. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the same, but just to try and achieve what we've gotten. So before we go further, let me quickly mention this. Another good way to get perfect clean designs is to ensure that you're following like a guide. So Canva has a system where you can go into your settings and you can add guides if you want, or you can show margins, right? So in this case, these are the like this square area, this margin that Canva is showing to me, but they are there as guides. So what I'm getting at is this: the logo here, if you notice, let me bring out the pen. If you notice, the logo here is not exactly like following the guide, like, or this margin. What it's doing rather is, because we have two color modes when it comes to the logo itself. We have the I think, let me reduce the weight so it's more okay. So we have this one, and then we have this one, right? So because of that, when creating contrast and visual hierarchy and all of that, so if for instance I move this particular, if I move, so I'm trying to get my, so if I move this, maybe I make it start from where the margin starts from, it would most likely look, it looks odd, right? Because this, the icon on the logo has a lower contrast, whereas the text part of the logo has like high contrast, right? And all of this is high contrast, all of this here. So it's going to create like a sort of imbalance to the design itself. So to ensure that that doesn't happen, in simple terms, I then decided that the best course of action will be to move this. So the part that has the high contrast, this is the made by hub, starts with the margin, whereas the logo itself, the logo icon, stays off. But at the same time, I'm ensuring that, you know, the distance from this part of the Canva and this part is almost the same, right? So it doesn't create like this dull representation of what it should look like. It gives this a bit more alignment and arrangement of elements, so your design doesn't come out looking too rowdy or too crowded and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to kill the guides, sorry, not the guides, the margin. I'm going to turn it off, show margin is going to turn off. So I'm going to work like mentally, try to align every part of the design to achieve what we need to achieve. So let me just do that like that. Oh, okay. So with this one, I can, you know, because it's high contrast, it's going to be high contrast. I can, you know, zoom in and just see it a bit. Just okay. I think that's fine. That's the middle part of the design. All right. So we're getting there. So with this one, you know, since it's high contrast, but because following the brand guide, I already have, or the brand kit, I already have okay, so I already have like a gradient here. So the gradient moves from a darker shade of green to a somewhat lighter shade. So it's creating this illusion of so if you see here, it's creating an illusion of a light reflection, a green light reflection coming from this part, like coming from here. So that's what I wanted to achieve. So but because I could have done that, but it's going to take me a lot of more time to achieve, creating like a filtered element, maybe like a circle that has blurred edges, and then reduce opacity or transparency. So what I just did, since it's going to be the same, they're all the same elements, all I did was to include the gradient on the container itself, this shape. So let's work on this one. We have 10,000 and then we have 8,500. So I'm going to go in and then copy this just because I want the icon, the Naira icon. If you can't find the Naira icon, you can always go on Google, which is what I did. I went on Google, searched for Naira sign element, and I copied it and just pasted it on the design itself. So I can always, instead of going back and taking a text, I can come to any of my elements here, just duplicate it, change the color, the text color to white, go in and paste. Okay, so having done that, I just have to just do that, and then I would increase the font size. So in most cases, you might end up eyeballing what you want to achieve, or maybe just listen to that inner mind that says, oh, stop right there, that's enough. So I'm going to centralize this, and I'm going to do that, and do that. So I'm still following this design. So I think I have to reduce the font size a bit, make it 30 or 28. So let's so you can always come here to just I'll make it 30, right? But what I notice is the corner for this container, the rounded corner, is not giving me what I want. I'm going to just increase it just by a bit. Just let's say 25. Okay. Then I need to increase this a bit more. Or let me just go back here and see what size it is. 37.7. So let us be at 37. Duplicate it. Oh, another good feature for Canva is, you can see the guide and the snap to grid or snap to guide. It allows you to easily just, but if you do miss what, maybe I do this now and I want to, align both, I can just go to these three dotted sides, select this one, come back, and then I can do, I think it's position, okay, align, and then it will automatically put these two on the same line, right? So that's another way to get that sorted. And because this is in front of another layer which has a container, so it's going to use a container as like a box and then give it guides and all of that. So when I selected these two, it's showing me that it's evenly placed, like the center aligned to the container itself. As you can see, the line draws from left to right and then from top to bottom. So I'll do that, and I'll go in here, and the number is 10,000 naira. Okay. All right. I think we are getting there. So I'll just nudge it a bit just to create like a padding on the left side of the 10,000 there. Alright, so to achieve the line, so it's just a straight line. So when you come to elements, a straight line. Pick a straight line, change the color to the pink. The font, sorry, the stroke width, I think I'm okay with that. Rounded end points, I'm going to toggle that on yes because I want it to be rounded end. And then I am going to do line end and give it this head. So what I'll do next is to pull it in, then pull this end out. And voila, we're so close to achieving this design. So just nudge it up a bit. No, sorry. Okay, so this is one issue I've come to notice about designing on Canva, because so if I move this, I can't move it out except because Canva is seeing that these two are kind of, how do I put it now? They're kind of one are the same because I'm trying to maybe pull one end to another. I think there's a perfect explanation for this. Well, maybe if you do have a perfect explanation, you can let me know. But what I think what I will do is just to go into the layer option. I think it won't still work. I'll just have to settle for this for now. Settle with this for now. Okay, so we're almost there. So we have one design limited time offer on that. So same thing. Now it's important to note that because you are working with different font sizes and different font style, to give it an orderliness, like to make it look more clean and sublime, it's important to try and attempt to use the same font size for some elements. In this case, this font size is 23, whereas this one is 19, and just from there you build. So this message also is 24. So try to achieve like close range numbers, so it's easier to not get everything all messed up. So that's 19. I think what I did for this was 23. So I'll just make this 23. Okay. So we have one design and then limited time offer. So I'll go in and out. So one design to achieve that. So I'll do this. I don't know if it's on iOS, but it's on. If it's on Android, I beg your pardon, but it's on iOS. So one design limited time offer. I'm going to make it center aligned. Okay. And then I'll nudge it down a bit. So the spacing under won't be too, Should be weird looking at it. So I think it's almost the same. So I'm just eyeballing, right? So remember what I said, because we have ligature selected or toggled on, I can always come into and then select some parts of the text with which I'm going to change the color. So I want I want I want to pull attentions to the one design. In this case, making it have more contrast and more color, and then giving like visual hierarchy. I'm going to make it the bronze green color. Okay. So one thing I noticed is this has a little bit of um, padding by left and right. Alright, so we're done with that. So what I'll do, I'll go into layers, select this, and I'll just select everything within the container. And this, then I'm going to group them, right? And then move them, move it up, and nudge to the right. Almost there. So I'm going to nudge this one to the left. Okay. So with this now, it's much easier. All I just have to do is duplicate, pull down, then duplicate again. Okay, so because of the features of Canva, when you hit on duplicate twice, it's going to give you the exact same distance. So I want to try and fix that. Just nudge this up a bit more. I think this is better. And duplicate again. Great, 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 great. This is great. Yep. Okay, so I can now go in and start changing the numbers. So that's 50,000, 35,000. So I'm going to do like a time lapse for this part, so I don't bore you as you are seeing this. Okay. Alright, so because of the text container, I had difficulty. I had to like ungroup and then regroup some of the other elements. So we have 10 designs, 5 designs. I think it's the same thing here, something that will happen here. So these are issues, but it's bearable because it's just patience. You just have to do with patience. Everything has to do with patience when it comes to designing your mobile phone. So I have to ungroup everything all over again. Okay. 5 designs. Okay, this is 10 designs. All right, so I'm not going to group them back in because I already have like all I need. So in introducing this bottom part, the text and everything, sorry, the pictures. So these are like actual images, that I already uploaded. So I'm going to just do like a quick run through of what I did, and then I'm just going to copy and paste because so I don't take too much time. So what I did was take, for instance, this one of the designs, previous designs. So I need to take this one forward. Um, all right. So what I did was I made the corners more rounded. So I did a bit of rounded corner, maybe like 20. Then reduced it, and then started arranging everything in. So it's that simple and easy. So all you just need here in this instance is all you need is in this instance is the image, how you want to arrange them, layering the images maybe one on top of the other, just arranging them as such. Okay, so not to go through all of that, I'll just copy. So you can copy from one Canva or one artboard to another. So I'm going to click copy, just copy to my clipboard, come here, just select anything and then paste. Easy, right? So we have that sorted. Now what's next? I can always group it if I want, or group them if I want, but yeah. So what's next is there's this element here. It's just like a is it doodle or just like a line art. So I already have that on my previously used elements, which is this one. All I did was to make it the color for the brand color. Then maybe increase the size just to give it more drama. Okay, so all of this is just a drama. So but I can't leave it like this. So what I will do is I'll go to effects, go to blur, and blur the elements, maybe something around that, and then I'll take it backward, just behind everything but in front of the locked background. So it's just to introduce drama to your design. All right, so okay, so to achieve the CTA, which is message us on the WhatsApp icon, and then the WhatsApp phone number, and then the other part of it, it's just quite easy. Okay, so same way you introduce. I can always copy this one, but let me just do it from start. Okay, so to move this one on top. So I already have the color that I want that to be. So it's more or less like it's like a shade of green. Is it green? I think this is it. Yeah, this shade. Just a shade, a very light shade of the brown color. But it can't be like this. So what I did was to include stroke to it and did rounded corners also. Right? Let me draw that out. Okay. So if you're trying to align and you can't align your items properly, you can go to position and just align to center to do all of that for you. Okay, so to bring this one down, yeah, that's about it. I think it has to be a bit smaller. So notice when you increase or decrease, okay, it doesn't affect. Okay, on Canva it doesn't affect the corner size, which is good. On some other design application, you might have difficulty with that. Maybe the corners will now start becoming, you know, change. So one thing I did try to achieve here is, we already have 20 when it comes to the rounded corners for this container, 25. So I'll try as much as possible to make sure that all of the corners, the rounded corners on the design are the same number. So what that does is to create consistency and then eventually give a very clean design, so it doesn't come out all wonky. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this, move it upward, and reduce the size to somewhere around that center. Align it. Okay, and then remember what I said, when you're resizing some shapes that have rounded corners, it can change the numbers that you've imputed for the corners themselves. So what I'm going to manually redo this, give it 14. I'll remove the stroke because I want to give it like a color that is better than that. So let's do no. So what I did there, I used the gradient itself. So yeah, okay. So it mirrors the effects of maybe a light is coming from this area. So I have to just retain the gradient itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this message just on, since it's I'm just going to paste it here. Oh, okay, I think I copied everything. All right, so I'll just duplicate this. Let's just do it from scratch. We're almost done. And change the font color to white. Then I'll go in and say message us on. No, just leave it like that. Perfectly aligned. So, but because I'm using my thumb, or in this case my hand, to achieve most of what I'm achieving, it can prove a bit difficult. Unlike when maybe you do this on your laptop or an iPad, I think it's much more convenient to achieve, because you don't really necessarily have to zoom in to achieve some of these things. But yeah, I think we'll manage what we have. I'm going to duplicate this one. Just move to the side. Go in and copy the phone number and paste that in. So to make that center aligned. Okay. All right. So all that's left to just introduce is to introduce the WhatsApp logo icon. So I'll go to elements, see my previously used element, and then I have the WhatsApp icon here. Just resize it, and that's about it, right? So what I did here, I increased it a bit just to give it a little more character. So which is what I'm going to do here, just a bit. No, it's not the same, but I think it does the job. 24. I'm just trying to make sure that everything looks really good, aligned and otherwise. Okay. All right. We are almost done. Okay. So 13, 13, that's fine. I'm just nudge this one up a bit. So just all about you trying to find the sweet spot, because you can't just design and leave it as it is. You need to ensure that everything comes out right, so everything looks good. At the end of the day, it's very important. So I'm just going to take the size, which is 35, and then copy the text, copy and paste. So copy and paste. So everything here is bold. I'm going to select this one, then not make it bold. And then font size is 35. I'm sure I got that right. 35. All right. So center aligned, and then we are done. But one last thing is, on this design I have like a gradient, like a drop shadow. I tried achieving that, looking for a drop shadow. I couldn't find it for the container element or the rectangle element. So what I did was I went to elements and then I searched for drop shadow. So this is it here. So I just pick that one. So you can get different forms of drop shadows. Right. So I made sure that it was center aligned. And go into layers, just take it behind the rectangle container itself. Okay, so and drop the opacity, maybe make it 80. Let's make it 80. Let's make it 90. I think 90 is fine. And there you have it. It's almost identical, but yeah, this is how I achieved this design. Points to notes: it's all about you being flexible and try and tap into your creative personality. But when you have difficulty with achieving some of these designs, what you can do is always do like a research before you start. You can go on Pinterest and search for designs related to what you want to achieve, and just get some pointers from that, and it's much easier. So thank you all for tuning in. I think this will be this for this design. If you have any questions, please let me know, and well, I'll see you at the next one.